Why does faith involve uncertainty in the Bible? Imagine trusting someone completely without knowing exactly what will happen next. That's what faith is often about in the Bible. It's about trusting God even when we don't see the full picture. Faith is not about having all the answers or proof. It's about believing in what God has promised and trusting His character. The Bible shows us that faith involves uncertainty because life is full of unknowns. We don't always see how things will turn out, but we still choose to trust God anyway. The Bible describes faith as the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. This means believers are confident in God's promises even if they cannot see them happening yet. Faith is a journey that often involves facing doubts, trials, and unknowns. Hebrews encourages us to hold on to hope as a firm anchor for the soul, especially when circumstances seem uncertain. That hope is rooted in Jesus, who leads us through life's storms and keeps us steady. Looking back at the Old Testament, we see that trusting God sometimes meant trusting His guidance without knowing all the details. Abraham is a great example. He trusted God's promise to make him a father of many nations, even though he was very old and his wife Sarah was unable to have children. Abraham's trust was based on God's character and past faithfulness, but it still involved uncertainty about how and when the promise would come true. In the New Testament, faith continues to mean trusting Jesus and the Holy Spirit even when life is difficult or confusing. Romans explains that suffering can produce endurance and hope. Hope does not disappoint because God's love is poured into our hearts through the Holy Spirit. This shows that faith grows stronger when tested by uncertain circumstances. God promises to be with us in times of uncertainty. Passages like Deuteronomy 31 verse 8 reminded us that the Lord goes before us and will never leave us or forsake us. This encourages us to trust His presence and care, even when we don't understand what's ahead. Practically, faith is not about knowing every detail of the future. It's about confidently trusting God's promises, His character, and His plan. Faith invites us to live with hope and peace, praying and relying on God's guidance instead of only our own understanding. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 and 6 tell us to trust in the Lord with all our heart and not lean on our own insight. We are called to acknowledge Him in all our ways so He can direct our paths. In the end, faith involves uncertainty because it's trusting God without knowing everything about what will happen next. It's a confident trust in His faithfulness and promises, sustained by hope, prayer, and the presence of Jesus and the Holy Spirit. Even when life feels unclear or difficult, faith keeps us anchored in God's love and care. This understanding helps us stay peaceful and hopeful, knowing that God is always with us, guiding us through every uncertain moment.